The Joe Rogan Experience.
Those Daisy Dukes.
I just went to a food truck before I got here, and there was an Asian girl, and like my favorite kind of Asian girl. She was, I believe,
Alive?
Filipino, big lips,
Oh.
tan, dark tan with Daisy Dukes,
Oh my God.
open-toed sandals, beautiful feet, nice pedicure.
Were you freaking out?
It was just me and her, so I couldn't stare. And it was so painful. You ever you're fighting your neck? Like, don't
Yeah.
fucking turn. Keep your head straight.
Here's what's interesting, and this is the dynamic that's the difference between men and women. If we were describing this exact same thing, but you were a girl and you were describing a guy, it would be innocent.
Yeah.
It would be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be creepy. It'd be like, that girl's so horny. Oh my God. Like if she was like, I was in line and behind me was Jason Momoa. You know, Aquaman. Oh my God. And if you think he looks good in movies, he looks so good in real life, sweetie. I couldn't stop. I was looking right at his dick. I looked at his dick and I looked at his face and I looked at his dick and he started smiling and I started nodding. And no one would care.
No, and you'd say, that girl's liberated. She's
Yeah.
free.
She's crazy. That girl's
Yeah.
wild. Like
Yeah.
she could maybe grab it on the way out. Tap,
Oh, yeah.
tap. Give it a little tap, tap, tap. No one's going to call the cops, right? But if that's the difference. And so I think this is something that as men, this is a shaky one because there are definitely some fake male feminists out there that are just doing it because they want women to love them. Mm-hmm. And they say a bunch of shit that really screws the curve up. But if you're being honest and you're being rational, you have to realize that the way a woman perceives being hit on is going to be way different than the way a guy does. Because the girl's in danger. She's in potential danger. Like legitimately.
Yeah.
Like if you were some fucking serial killer psychopath and you decided to follow her back to her house, that's on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the menu. How rare is it that you meet a girl somewhere and she wants to come back to your house and kill you? It's
Yeah.
pretty fucking rare. You
Yeah.
got the Eileen Wuornos, that monster for the Charlize Theron movie.
Oh, yeah.
That girl
The
did
prostitute.
that. Yeah, she would pick guys up and they would think they were going to go get laid and she'd kill them.
Right, and they were also, it wasn't, people can demonize the John because he's picking up a hardcore hooker.
Because he wants some sex.
They see it's not victimless.
Yeah, but, he just wants sex. He doesn't want to get murdered. But she was tortured and, abused so horribly in her life that men became the enemy.
Yeah.
There's a big lesson in that, man. I've known guys and watched them as they got older and like failed relationship after failed relationship where they started developing this like resentment towards women. This is like a deep-seated like fuck them. All they want is this and all they want to, because what they're getting from the women all the time is negative. They're getting rejection because they're trying to get laid. They want the women to touch them. And the women are like, nah, not really into touching you. And you're like, fuck these whores. And they eventually develop this thing where they just hate.
Isn't there a name
women.
for those guys?
Misogynists?
No, there's like an online name.
Incel.
Yeah, right.
Incels are guys who, I think mostly they're talking about like a lot of those guys are like genetically unfortunate, like fucked up bone structure and small.
And that's why there's an argument for legalized prostitution because there are men that just because of deformities or whatever reason, or maybe they're even neurotic where they can't hit on a woman, and so there should be a place where a woman can knowingly and confidently and safely be a prostitute.
Yes, it should be your option. The problem is we equate prostitution with two things that are horrible: sexual abuse and sex slavery, sex trafficking. We equate prostitution with those things. That's why, like when Robert Kraft got busted, one of the first things they said is, this guy's a billionaire and he was participating in sex trafficking. That's what they accused him of. But then they had to drop that. I don't know if you know that.
No.
So there was no sex trafficking there. There was prostitutes. There was women who wanted to have sex for money. And
so they didn't come over in a SEAL tanker and slept in the...
No, they were prostitutes.
Yeah.
And it's their choice. And you don't hear much about that. The sex trafficking was like a big thing, I think, to get him to plead guilty. And they put it out there, and they said, they were shaming him and making it this big deal. This guy had paid to get his dick touched, and here he is. What is he, like 78 years old, 80 years old or something like that? This old guy just wanted to get his dick touched. He paid. It was a deal. She probably did it 13 times that day before him. I mean, that's what they were doing in that place. They were jerking guys off. But people kept coming back. Why'd they keep coming back? Because they hated it? Why'd they keep coming back? Because it was a ripoff? Why'd they keep coming back? No, because as adults, they wanted to get their dick touched. And this woman was willing to do that. And isn't that a bad job? It's a fucking terrible job. So is Wendy's. So is being a dishwasher. Those are terrible jobs too. Do you want to be the guy who puts the coal, the fucking tar on the streets in the hot day? Do you want to be that guy?
Yeah.
The fuck out of here. That job sucks. Do you want to be a guy who works in a gas station where you're constantly sniffing fumes? Fuck that. That job sucks. A lot of jobs suck. But it's your choice. It's your choice as a human being to take that job or not take that job. I feel the same way about prostitution that I feel about massage. It's like if you can pay someone to touch your feet and rub your feet, you can pay a dude to just be rubbing your feet. Why can't you pay someone to touch you? Why can't you pay someone to touch your genitals?
And like you said,
ridiculous.
Get rid of the stigma by legalizing it and making
protect
sure
those girls.
Right. I've been to the Bunny Ranch. I got a tour. I went, my wife gave me permission.
Calling it a tour?
Took a tour.
I had a map. I had a fucking Hawaiian shirt on.
No, I had the T-shirt with the tour dates on it.
He died recently.
Dennis Hoff.
Dennis Hoff died.
Yeah, so he invited me. He came to a show I was doing in Lake Tahoe. No, Reno. And he goes, hey, do you want to come take a tour? And like, because of the Stern connection, I kind of knew him. He's like, do you want to come take a tour of the ranch? And I go, let me call my wife. And I called her and I go, I just want to see it.
I'm just going to smell it.
And she goes, well, if you bring Kathleen Roll, who is the feature act, with you, then you can go. So they send a limo.
Nice.
And we go off and we walk in and there was like, one room had like a fucking trapeze in it and the other one had a hot tub. They all had different like themes to them. And it was like, it wasn't as skanky as I thought, but it was pretty down and dirty. It was like trailers, but they were clean. And while I was there, a doctor showed up and they gave them all they checked their snatches for whatever.
What?
They had a little kitchenette. They had somebody cooking little snacks for them. They offered me some. I said, I'm going to pass. And then at the end, he pulls me aside and he goes, by the way, Greg, take any of the girls. It's on the house. And I go, well, Dennis, I've never been with a prostitute before, and it wasn't because of the $100. I wasn't waiting for a freebie. But the girls were happy. They keep 50% of the money. They can't use drugs on the premises. They can refuse a customer. And they come and go when they want.
I think people should be able to do whatever they want that doesn't hurt people. And I think that falls into that category. And I think it does provide a service for really frustrated men that can't get sex any other way.
Yeah.
And I think it's stigmatized. I think it's stigmatized in a very weird way. It's not a good job. I don't want to do it. I don't want my children to do it. I don't want your children to do it. I don't want my kids to work as a dishwasher either. I don't want my kids to be a coal miner. Those things are real jobs, you know? I just don't. I think that if we had different attitudes about sex, we wouldn't look at it as harshly. We would look at it as horribly as we look at it. We look at it different because we think that like intimacy is connected to romance, and romance is connected to this emotional connection you have with this person that you're sharing pleasure with. I'm like, that is wonderful. But physical release is also very important for men. It's very important and it's very important for everyone to be touched. And some people don't want to touch them. They're just not doing so good.
Yeah,
it's just they're not in a good spot. They're not physically attractive. Whatever it is, whatever for some people, and they have a desire and a need to be touched, and it fucking wrecks them to the soul when they're not touched all the time.
Yeah.
They constantly walk around filled with resentment, filled with bitterness, just quietly enraged inside at the hand that life has given them. And for those people, if you had legalized prostitution, if it was like someone who like you could conceivably have friendships with these people that you're having sex with if you wanted to do that. Like I knew a girl who, when she was younger, she was a sex worker, and she's I don't want to even reveal her. It'd be too obvious if I reveal what she does, but she did it for a while when she was like young, and she fucked some older guys that were like, in their 60s and shit, and they didn't have, they had money, but they didn't have the time to date, and, maybe they had a wife and they wanted to have sex with somebody on the side, and she would take money from them, and she liked it. She's like, it's a great way to make money. It was a lot more money. It's not that big a deal. She goes, I knew who I was doing it with, and I was like, wow, she's smart. I don't think everybody has that attitude, and I would never want anybody to do that doesn't have that attitude. But if you're one of those girls that's like hustling, maybe you don't have a family that backs you up.
No, there's girls that like, there is legitimately like I got a friend who's really wealthy, and his friends have some of them have like a girl in New York, and they pay for her apartment, and she's going to college, and he goes to New York 7-8 times a year, and when he does, she frees her calendar and goes out to dinner with him, goes to wherever, he sleeps there, they have sex, and it's a comfortable working relationship. So I don't know, where's the problem with that?
Who's the victim?
Right.
Yeah, he's a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have crazy attitudes for finite beings. We have this crazy attitude like we're leaving this permanent like ledger of all the moral and immoral things we've done, especially when it comes to sex. It's like, it's just sex, you fucks.
Yeah.
It's great. Everybody wants it. But everybody doesn't get it. And sometimes people get rejected. And so it carries all this weight. And so it's just like, and then you're not supposed to do it because God doesn't want you to, or you could get pregnant. And Jesus Christ, are you pro-life or are you pro-abortion? Are you pro-woman's life to choose? You should even have a say. You have a fucking penis. And like, whoa, this is so charged.
Yeah.
It's so charged.
Right.
And meanwhile, biologically, your brain is going, no, we gotta fuck. Okay, I got loads building up, and I gotta get rid of these things. You know, like I used to have a bit called "jerk off first, then think about it." It was like my advice for everything, because there's so many moments in life where you jerk off first, and then you go, "What? What was I gonna do?
Right,
I am not calling her. I'm definitely not responding to that crazy fucking letter she sent me in the mail."
Yeah,
you know, when you get a letter from somebody, like, oh no,
it's like sobering up.
Yeah. Jerk off first. Jerk off first and know your real intentions. If you jerk off first and you still want to call someone, you really care about them. You love them.
That's right.
It's not just lust.
Yeah. That's empty bag thinking.
Yeah.
I was never good at that. Like I reset the clock. Nowadays, I pop. Give me 24 hours. Leave me alone.
24.
I need 24 hours.
Yeah. Well.